Well, good morning. We are here in Washington, DC. It is a cold morning compared to Florida of what we've been used to recently. We're only here for a couple of days, so we're going to see how much we can do in 2 days. So we're in Washington, DC for the weekend. Let's see how many things we can do and we can see over the next, 48 hours or so. Oh my God, I'm so cold. So our first stop on our trip to Washington, DC has to start really at the White House. What's this place called again? Yeah. This modest mansion has 132 rooms, 412 doors, which means, well, there's a lot of knobs. That's where the exit is. Where's the exit? Tell us.
So, this is the White House.
Yep.
Opened in 1776. First resident was George Washington. Current resident is Kermit.
Fantastic. Taylor, tell me about the glass. What did you just say about the glass in the White House windows?
Well, we were talking about it being like kind of concave, and he said it's kind of waterproof, but it didn't mean waterproof.
Waterproof to no expense spared. Waterproof windows to protect the president from rain. Well, so that's the White House done. We looked at it for a good few minutes. We did see some homeless people almost have a fight. Done. Okay. So we're playing a game called Guess Who's on the Statue, which we don't think we're going to do very well at. But Taylor, who do you think this is?
George Washington.
George Washington? Why? Because he's wearing a weird suit?
No, he's got the funny hair.
Well, where's the plaque for it? Come on, it's got to find it. No, it says General Lafayette. Right, well, now we know what General Lafayette looks like, we can use that in our advantage of guessing who else are on other statues. That might be the first and the last time we played that game. We're seeing lots of bonus places. Not even on the list. Department of Treasury ticked it off. Exactly, all the pirate treasure. And that's a cool looking building. Our second stop is the Zero Milestone, right behind the White House and kind of in between the Washington Monument, in the kind of taint of the city, if you may. Now, the Zero Milestone is over 100 years old and, well, probably the most ignored monument in the area, as they take pictures of the White House behind. Now, this was originally meant to be the marker for all roads in the US, a centre point to mark distance from. But this is no longer the case, it just marks distances for roads in the city. So we found the milestone. We walked all the way past it, over there, just to come all the way back out. Look at it, it's right by. You can't see it, the White House is there.
Well, it's hard with the construction and stuff like that.
Yeah, all these fences and stuff, you can't get around. So we've done that. You could have killed two birds with one stone on that. So right now we're going to go to the Washington Monument, as you can see over there. And we are getting things. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh, there. Wow. You're holding it up. We were just saying how weird it is of a city. Like, we know it's a Sunday and it's still fairly early in the morning, but like, it's empty. For a capital city. Here it just feels dead. I don't know if it's just because it's the weather, it's February, it's cold, but there's not even that many tourists around. We've seen a few Japanese tourists. There's a few people here and there, but like, there's just no one here. There's just no one around. Of Washington to ourselves. There's tourists. What? Oh, you're saying blue jay, I'm saying tourists. Now, surprisingly, this isn't the most phallic looking building in the United States, but it once was the tallest building in the world back in 1884 when it was built. At 555 feet, the Washington Monument really does dominate your eye line no matter where you are in the city. Now, we admired from a respectable distance as well. The closer you get to it, the worse your view becomes. You can have tours inside, but we had a lot more to get done, so we needed to move on quite quickly. Right, so we are now on our way to the Lincoln Memorial. Going to look at the War Memorial first. Monument's behind us. White House is there. Just so you can see in perspective, we walked from down there to here. Lincoln Memorial was just over there. The Pontiac River is over there. Potomac, that's the one, Potomac. Yeah, it's over there. So it's all within kind of walking distance. So you can walk around quite easily. We do have a metro card, but we only used it really yesterday to get from the airport down to Foggy Bottoms, is where we're staying. So everything's within walking distance as long as you're willing to walk. And we are. Plus it's really cold, so you might as well walk because it's nice. keeps you warm. Keeps you warm. My ears are going to fall off, but let's see how many steps we do as well at the end of the day. We haven't seen any more statues since the last statues we saw. I've got a feeling the next statue we're going to see, I might know who it is. I might know. We next visited the World War II Memorial, which was built in 2004. There are some granite columns that surround the area, which are representations of different parts of the US and its territories. Now, the Wall of Stars has 4,048 stars, and each one represents 100 US soldiers who lost their lives or never returned. That's on our list. That can be on our list. That's definitely on our list. Monument's still behind us. So we've done the War Memorial. Now we're on our way to the Abraham Lincoln Memorial. And the reflecting pool is empty. There's nothing in it apart from two little ducks, as you said, holding onto a little bit of water that they can find. I swear this walk from there to here is never ending. You can see behind us we have walked a long way, look at that. We've made it to the Lincoln Memorial, which is going to be just behind here. Turn, camera turn, there we go, look at that. Now we were just talking about that, we've seen Night at the Museum too, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we know he can speak.
Yeah.
So you've got to rub his foot in or something, and then hopefully he'll say something.
Yeah.
Let's go and see.
You have to answer his riddle.
Yeah. We made our way up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial to have a little look on our friend Mr. Lincoln. Now, the statue of Lincoln there weighs 175 tonnes, which I assume is widely inaccurate to his real weight, which is probably nowhere near that figure. And this didn't actually open until 60 years after Lincoln was assassinated. I thought I'd get it from the side because nobody ever really gets it from the side. Everyone's always around the front, so I thought, you know, I'd give Abraham Lincoln his... They always said his style was great, and yeah, look at the detail on the back. Imagine if you carved the back of his head and no one ever saw it. You happy, Taylor?
I'm really weirdly happy about that.
Got your book stamped. Right, so we've seen Lincoln Memorial now. That's another thing ticked off the list. So far we've spent 0 pennies. We've spent 0 Lincolns. We've not spent a single Lincoln at all today. He's on the penny, right? Yeah, good. So we're going to go over to the Jefferson Memorial, and then we're going to hit the Smithsonian Museums later on this afternoon. Exactly, we're only going to get coffee fairly soon. But we're hitting them all off. Things have livened up a little bit though. We've seen a lot more people now, haven't we? And dogs. I mean, you mix in the historical monuments, all the cool sites, and you mix them in with dogs. Oh my God, you've got a trip. I mean, you've got to come to Washington. Washington. I can't speak. My mouth's frozen shut. Come to Washington just for the dogs. Our next stop was the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, which was a short walk from the Lincoln. As you enter, you walk through the Mountain of Despair before you reach the Stone of Hope, which opened in 2011 and which stands 30 feet high overlooking the Potomac River. We are now on our way to the Jefferson Memorial, which is just across the water, just over there, if you can see that.
It's called the cut bridge because it cuts across.
You're so silly.
Here.
From here to here to here to here to here, all the way around to here to here, then to here, and then all the way back round somewhere. I mean, then we've got to go all the way over there. What a lovely view.
Thank you.
Very, very good. I'm gonna go this way. Well, we've made it, Taylor. All the way over here. The sun has come out. It's really bright out. The Jefferson Memorial is in honour of Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of America, and the author of the Declaration of Independence.
Now, like a Kinder Egg, in the centre of this dome marble-lined interior, you'll find a 19-foot bronze statue of the man, along with walls covered in his writings. The memorial stands in a straight line from the White House and sits on the tidal basin of the river, which makes it a great place to see cherry trees bloom, although not at this time of year. It was dedicated in 1943 on the 200th anniversary of Jefferson's birth.
So we've done the Jefferson Memorial. The sun came out for about 5 seconds. I took my glove off, undid my jacket, and then it got cold again. We are now on our way to have a little coffee break, get my free coffee for my birthday, and then head over to the Air and Space Museum. My legs are starting to get me now. My feet are hurting. Are your feet hurting?
No.
Well, my feet are. They're getting me. I just need to sit down, regroup myself for 5 or 10 minutes.
Because you're older.
We made a quick stop at the gardens of the Smithsonian Castle, which surprisingly is classed as a rooftop garden, because there's a whole museum complex built underneath. The gardens have art dotted around and a nice place to stop and enjoy some flowers, get some fresh air. The castle itself was closed due to renovations, which meant we could go inside, but we were able to just enjoy the outside parts.
So where are we going now, Taylor? Not going to hear you, that means the American History Museum, because we couldn't get into the air and space just yet.
Our next unexpected stop was the American History Museum, where the Star-Spangled Banner is kept. A giant flag originally 30 feet by 42 feet. I'd love to show you, but I couldn't film inside, so well, here's Taylor going inside and then some blurry photos from the internet. They can pretend that's us. Oh, you can pretend that's us as well. We then learned a little bit about the American Railway before learning about maritime history, where Taylor really bopped out to some Titanic bangers.
Playlist of the Titanic. Quick, choose another one. Bit cheery, be British. It's a bit cheery for songs about Titanic.
We learnt about pirates before going to look at some money. We learned all about money, different types of money, folded money, metal money, and then this big $100,000 money.
The sun has now come out. It's looking beautiful. Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's disappeared. We've just come out of that museum. Just there, the natural, no, not natural American History Museum.
Just American.
Just the American History Museum. So we're now on our way to the Air and Space Museum because we couldn't go before because we needed to make a little reservation, which we didn't know. We just did a car one. Where are we going first?
I don't know. Air or space?
Air or space? Choose.
Although we had to make a timed reservation, this still is a free entry, and the Air and Space Museum is one of the most popular museums in the city.
Got the map?
Yeah, I want to go here and here.
Oh yeah, of course.
To the right, brothers, but to the left.
That's a good point. You're so silly.
Confusing.
And there's a great mix of interesting displays and interactive exhibits.
Oh, I'll tell you what though, it feels good on my feet.
Yeah.
All that walking, it's a good massage.
Can't have your tea on that
It's like
one.
the fly on a plane. Not even turbulence, it's just that fly. Oh, that massage.
And there's a lot to do in here, so much to see. We love this museum a lot.
Maybe a duck. After walking all day, Taylor, more stairs. But we're going from air to space.
Here's some space ASMR.
You can't take this exhibit for granted.
Oh my gosh. Real move, right?
We ended our day here at the museum, which was a great way to end despite my feet killing me, and we headed back to the metro so we could go rest our feet. So we're nestled into bed now after what has been a really good day, done a lot of things. Couldn't quite do everything that was on that list today, but we still got tomorrow. We couldn't we weren't able to hit the Postal Museum just because of the Air and Space Museum's reservation system, which we didn't realise there was a reservation system. So we just got lucky, managed to get a time. Tomorrow we're hitting the Capitol, we're hitting the Pentagon, we're going to go to the Postal Museum, so it's going to be a good day. We actually walked like just under 13 miles, I think it was like 12.97 miles, 26,000 steps we did today. So that metro back was definitely well deserved. All in all, a fantastic first day here in Washington. We've only got tomorrow as well, but so we've got things, we've got Capitol building tour, and then we're going over to the Pentagon, and we're gonna have a look at a tour around the Pentagon. So exciting stuff. Right now, I need to go to sleep because I'm so tired. Oh my gosh. Well, so good night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Well, good morning. It is day number 2, and we're now on our way to the Capitol building for our tour around the Capitol, which I'm very excited about. Capitol's tour is about half an hour or so. We're in the half an hour or so. We'll be in the building for about an hour. But look at the majestic sight. There it is.
The other side is fully under construction, so
yeah.
Glad we got this side.
This side is much better, yeah, because the other side is construction. The other side is where you look down onto the Washington Monument, which again you can see from the trees over there.
It's always watching.
Yeah. That's the Library of Congress, right? I think over there. That's a tree, that's some birds. So we've got another full kind of busy day. We're doing this, and then we're going to go to the Pentagon later on for a little tour, special tour later, which is going to be exciting. And then
we're also going to go to the post office.
we're going to the Post Office Museum, which we didn't get to go to yesterday, which is what we're going to do after we've done this. We've got some time before we head over to the Pentagon, because we've got to get the train over there. So exciting stuff. Looking forward to it. Let's go see the Capitol. We started our tour at the Visitor Centre, getting checked in, where we collected our headphones and met with our guide. The tour starts in the crypt of the Capitol, but don't worry, you won't find any dead bodies in there, although they did plan to keep George Washington's. We then made our way into the Rotunda and saw the magnificent ceiling, and I do love a good ceiling. The walls are covered in paintings, and there's a statue of Ronald Reagan with a piece of the Berlin Wall underneath him. From the dome you move into the National Statuary Hall, which was one of the first halls for the House of Representatives. It's no longer used and is now just a room full of statues. And it's quite a cool ceiling as well. And that is another item ticked off our list. We are really going through this. So the Capitol's behind us, and we're going to walk through Union Station now to go to the Postal Office Museum. I can't say that. The Post Office Museum before we head into the Pentagon. But it's a nice day. Still, it's cold, but it's not as cold as yesterday, I don't think.
It's not a nice day.
It's an okay day. It's not a Florida day, is it? No. So there's Union Station in front of us. There it is. So hopefully we can walk through there to get to the Post Office Museum. Now, not a stop most people would make, but it's one I wanted to see. It's the Postal Museum. This first-class museum has the largest and most comprehensive collection of stamps in the world, and it operates on the site of an old post office and still has a working post office in the museum. What's more exciting than that? World's first postage stamp. We saw the world's first postage stamp. A postage stamp of Elvis. And then we saw the famous inverted Jenny. And just when I thought things couldn't get any more exciting, we were allowed to choose 6 of our own stamps to take home. Pick 6. Pick 6 stamps. I'm very excited about this. There were just so many stamps to choose from, although I wasn't sure about this one. So we moved on from the first part of the museum, which was mainly about the stamps, and we moved on to the second part, which had another cool ceiling. Look at that, that's the inverted Jenny. This second part of the museum was all about the American Postal Service and its history. We saw how it was moved by trains. Try sorting the mail. Got to be in some order. Hey, you sorted the mail. We learned about the police officers that work for the post office and their involvement in catching the Unabomber. We learned about big trucks, and Taylor pretended to drive one. And then we saw Benjamin Franklin, the first Postmaster General. This museum used to be in the American History Museum, but it's grown and now gets the recognition it deserves. We left the museum and caught the metro over at Union Station to head to the Pentagon. Now, we did have a really interesting and really fantastic tour around the Pentagon on the inside. I've really enjoyed that, but obviously I couldn't record while I was in there because of secrets and aliens and things like that. So instead I filmed round the Pentagon Memorial, which we visited after we had our tour. The memorial was placed on the side of the Pentagon where the plane hit on 9/11. There are 184 memorial benches, and each one of them is dedicated to the victim, so who died. Depending on which way the bench is facing, shows who and how they died, whether they were on the plane or on the ground at the time. As you can see, each bench has its own pool of water underneath, which helps reflect the light onto the bench. The benches are organised in timeline order of their ages, so the youngest victim was 3, all the way up to the oldest at 71.
Well, it's the next day. Good morning. Taylor is chewing her breakfast there.
It's muffin.
It's a muffin? It's nothing? What's a muffin?
A muffin.
It's a muffin. So yesterday, last time you kind of saw us, we were at the Pentagon. We had our tour around the Pentagon, which was really good.
It was a private tour.
Private tour, took us round, we looked at all different things. It's a confusing place of...
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, if you see an aerial photo of the Pentagon, you know the kind of layout, but when you're inside, it's confusing. It's all over the place, corridors here, back and forth, and you cut across, and different outer rings. A, B, C, D, E. Is that a secret? It's not a secret.
No.
I got a pressed penny. Where is it?
Yeah.
The fact, I love a pressed penny, and the fact is, oh my gosh, I can't. Taylor, hold it. Here it is, right? I don't know if you can see that properly, but that is a pressed penny. Do this, I don't know, make up.
A pressed Pentagon?
Pressed Pentagon? Penny. The fact you can get a pressed penny in the Pentagon. I was like, we're having that, haven't we?
Yeah.
So that's cool. I think that's pretty cool. We've got a magnet as well from the gift shop.
And
It's not really
what happens in the Pentagon
stays in the Pentagon. So our trip at Washington has now come to an end. We are about to head back to the airport, BWI Airport, Baltimore Airport.
I'm not going to the airport.
You are going to the airport. And then we're going to head back. I've got the sniffles. I've walked away from Washington. I've walked away from Washington with a pressed penny and a sniffle, and only one of them I like, and that's obviously the pressed penny. So, Taylor, how did you find your trip at Washington DC?
Cold,
Cold.
but I liked it.
Cold
And we
week.
want to come back because now we have other things
We've
that
got
we've
other
like
things to do.
added onto our list. We want to go to the Spy Museum next time.
Yeah, exactly, and it's all free. So apart from like food that we bought, restaurants, we actually didn't really spend any money
Yeah.
on anything other than food.
On our first day, we only spent $20, and that's because we bought a Starbucks mug.
Yeah,
So,
that's because
other than we didn't buy anything.
exactly. But as Abraham Lincoln said, DC is the place to visit.
Bye.